Hello Internet, and welcome back to my little Satisfactory challenge. After surrendering to the lure of geothermal power last time, today's episode is going to be a bit more quality of life. There's still some work to be done on power. I'm finally starting to map all those random resource nodes, and the smart plates will finally get their own section in the factory. I would have loved to fit in more building, but that would have been just too much for one episode. It's long enough as it is. I've been kind of busy. As you can see, I've been adjusting the colors. Now, this little sad construction is a dogger pen because I lost all of them. So I have to keep them contained. Otherwise, it's just a pain to find them again. As you can see in the top corner there, we're just about over 10% towards our goal. 10%. Good Lord. Slowly suffering my way through phase 1. Beans do not care about gravity. I can't even run the sink anymore. I'm trying to have it all done on biomass burners. If the doggers give me more computers, I will happily build another geothermal because this is just ridiculous. The life of a pioneer dumb enough to do the hardest mode and not skip phase 1. Because all that stands between me and coal power right now is 4,500 smart plates. I do not want to do the math again on how long it might take me to get there, but it's a lot. I wish I could come up with some good content here, or even some good decorations or anything, but there just isn't. It's pain. I don't know why anyone would do it, but I'm doing it. Because I started and I feel committed now. I've accomplished one thing, which is this mess of a staircase and some sneaky corridors, if you'll acknowledge that this is a wall. But I'm gonna need a few more pieces from the sink before I can make this look as pretty as intended as I want it. Welcome to day 11 of What the Hell Was I Thinking? I thought I was gonna just grind away at this, but I had some thoughts. Now, let's first of all visit the doggos. One of my rules was not to use things I can't use yet. By which I mean if I can't produce it, like, say I find turbo motors somewhere, I'm not using them for anything just yet. That did mean that all I could do for power is biomass. And in this game mode, that is well and truly hell unless you deforest the entire planet and just build a whole lot of biomass burners. Neither of which I want to do because A, I love the scenery, and B, I don't want to refactor factories, and I do want to leave old infrastructure in place if I, make it obsolete. But if I have a big chunk of biomass burners somewhere, that's... no. So I decided that I prefer to bend the rules a bit, and for the sake of getting myself through some power, I let myself research the geothermal power, and I built one generator. Which was in itself painful because all of that needs a lot of quick wire. Now, this is still painful. It's less painful. Things are moving at a reasonable pace. We are 45 hours in. I'm still not at 1,000. It's slow, and I need to scale up. And for that, I need to power. I was hoping my doggers would give me some more motors so I can build another geothermal generator. The next option is to research the power augmenter. For that, I need, well, first of all, I need to start collecting sloops, but I also need to research this. Let's add that for the second, actually. Okay, we also would need some wire. Let's look for that. I hope you like my stair madness. That's not even running. I do have portable miners going, so we can fix that problem. I don't think we need the Caterium. Oop, pressing all the wrong buttons. We don't think that we need the Caterium unless and until I get some more motors. We are short 3 motors, I believe. Yeah. I mean, 3 motors and a hell of a lot of high-speed connectors, but that's a different issue that can be fixed with enough stubbornness. Now, the worrying thing about the SAM situation is that it needs an awful lot of steel pipe, not just for researching it, but also for making the reanimated SAM. And I probably need to put a portable miner up for the SAM, because I don't believe I have one currently going. I'm just thinking, is there any closer, but I don't believe there is. Oh yeah, in the meantime I've also managed to get myself a parachute, which makes things so much easier. You would not believe how easy it is with some blade runners and the parachute to get in a lot of places that you probably really shouldn't. And because my boxes are a mess, there's probably some in here. And it's where my tiny bit of SAM is stored. Okay, so we have 260-ish pipes. Oh wait, that's enough reanimated SAM for the research, at least. Okay, that's something. Let's see how the next node looks.
SAM fluctuator recipe unlocked. The fluctuator can mimic unique communication through patterns of electric frequencies to instruct reanimated SAM to perform specific tasks or give specific restrictions, such as matter-to-energy conversion. It can also function as matter memory, reading the exact composition and state of a collection of matter in one location, breaking it down, and near-instantly reconstructing it in another location, which has incredible potential for smart storage.
Your threads shift solid to fluid to a tapestry, matter, and mind and melody.
So while those two are having their talks, here's what we're looking at. Here's the alien matter harvesting and this thing. And do I even have enough computers? Do I have enough anything? Okay, so I need 110 converters. Are the doggers ready yet again? I suppose that's useful. Motors. Okay. That does mean we can, in fact, work on this again. And I've just removed my quick wire portable miner. Gonna need another one of those. I mean, I've not even checked yet how many of those I need. Okay, here's something that some people might not know. You can add the parts that you need. You can then edit the list. Edit it up. And we can see we need a handy dandy 2,800 quick wire. Suffering. Let me just check for the hell of it. Not that we can power the sink, but I guess in theory we could take other things off the grid. Because I can make it, I can buy it, so... Oh. Only 4 tickets for 100. I was expecting to get like 10 in a pack or something. Okay then, we need 4 tickets. How many? I had 1 ticket stocked up. Do you tell me the numbers without power? Okay, there's nothing going in it at the moment, such... Oh, there's something going in it. Okay, expect the fuse to blow. But I do want to check. Okay. DNA points might be an option. See if we can magic some power up. Sure, I'll just... All the wrong buttons. And... shrink. Oh yes, that did work well. Reconnect those. Shop. Buy. Wish I could buy motors already. Come with me to connect another geothermal. What's actually the shortest way? Oh, goddamn these hills. And then I double tap and suddenly we're in a parachute, and that's not very quick either. It's a lovely movement game if you have the control for it. I'm not very good at it. Is that gonna let me float up? See, that's actually quite quick. Until it lands you. Here we are. Here we have another little do that for us. We must have a view to build, of course. Pioneers are like cats. They need to be high up somewhere. And I believe this is another pure node. Yes, lovely. Okay. Ooh, quartz. How have I not picked these up already? I'm such a loot goblin usually. I know I skip a lot of them because I don't want to pollute the hard drive pool. If you pick up all the materials you find, suddenly all the alternative recipes show up in your hard drive. But if you manage to get a hard drive going before you unlock rotors and reinforced plates, and before you have picked up caterium and quartz, you can almost guarantee either iron wire or cast screws. And everyone wants cast screws, even though you get rid of screws later. Okay, so we have a lot more power. Everything is currently running almost without biomass. Nice. Which means that once I've automated the biomass delivery, This will all look a lot better. The chain for delivery is going to be this lot, which I might have actually placed so I can feed them all. Cool. Yeah, there's 2 more behind there, which I'll have to wrangle around the corners. But the other ones can just have straight up splitters. I think I'm gonna put it here. That way, if I really need to. Oh, this is awkward. Oh, we can wiggle that so it doesn't interfere with potentially getting stuff out of there. And then I need a constructor for turning the... That might live on top. Give me an encroaching clearance. Alright, they take up a bit more than it. What was it that took out precisely 1? I think the assemblers are actually a little bit slimmer, aren't they? Might as well have that in sync. And how do we do this? Oh, I've placed these not well. I could pull the excuse of having it go through the rock and saying it's intentional, but I don't really like doing that. Can we call that good enough? They're using biomass, not biofuel. That's 10 each. That's 40. Where is it? Alien protein, please. And at that point, it's just running under 3%. That will be a tiny amount of power. And that should last a long, long while. What remains then is to hook this up. Default gives the most space. That's a bit ugly, but it'll do it. Can I get out of that place? Okay, now we need to get up there again. I can't wait for hover pack. Of course, the amount of things I'll have to get done before hover pack is absolutely insane. But still, that'll probably be what keeps me going. It's happily distributing. It'll back up a little bit because we're currently not using the biomass. And yeah, things will be good. Oh, I can make wire automatically again. Can afford machines. Thank you, doggos. Now that we have the power again, what's the plan for scaling up? Well, for starters, I might produce concrete again. Other than that, what's the plan for scaling up? Options are... as you can see, there's currently some overclocking on with the fuel here. I could take this out and plug them in this miner so I can make more screws. There's another iron node over there. It's not a pure one, I believe, but I could turn that into rotors and just make a tiny amount of rotors. Other options I'm a bit short of. See, it's the iron that I'm short of generally. Otherwise, I'd just use the other copper node and make more copper sheets and all would be good, but I need the screws. Anything else that could help me make rotors? Now, what did we have over here? Now, that's copper, bauxite, that's sulfur. I need to do a hunting run, apparently. What's the ones? That's it, isn't it? Oh, there's not iron. Impure. Not so good, but could chuck that together with some copper. And that's more copper, that's more copper. We have copper for days. Iron is a little bit touch and go. It's just not looking great for iron, which is a pain considering which phase we are in. So the idea would be basically max out this area and that miner for screws, and then move over there, use the extra iron node, make more smart plates over there. That's it. And that's the only options I can think of. While I've been fiddling around here, we've managed to make another 100 plates, so things are steadily progressing. I've got my work cut out. You shall see if I can successfully scale this at least a little bit. Power permitting. It's all about the power. 5 times power costs on biomass. Steadily eating it. Look. It's gonna need a refill. And I can't even afford to slope it. Out of all the things, the 2 times recipe cost changes the most about this. Because, like I said before, I wasn't even thinking about it. I just autopilot, we need solid biofuel. No, it's not actually worth making it. You're literally losing potential power by turning it into solid biofuel. So it takes some rethinking. Also, I think solid steel is not going to be worth it, because you need to smelt the iron first. That's an extra recipe step that halves your iron. That's not going to be worth it, is it? I don't think it's not that good a recipe. So, yeah. 2 times recipe costs makes things more bonkers than everything else. The rest is just a grind. But I think without the grind you wouldn't really notice it that much, so there's that. Day 11. Upgrades have been made. The doggers have blessed us with more geothermal energy. The sink is actually plugged in still, and I'm sinking stuff, so I might actually get coupons out of this mess, at least for a little while. Things are slightly looking up, but once again, it's hella interesting. Don't do it on max settings. If you really want, do it on 2 times recipe costs. That does a lot to change the game. Maybe don't do it on 100 times parts and 5 times power costs, or just skip phase 1 so you can at least automate your power properly. If I come up with any other ideas, I'm gonna see you again, and otherwise we'll see you at 5,000. Right, I'm missing something.
Official Fix-It coffee cup unlocked. Do not purchase unauthorized Fix-It coffee cups. They have been known to explode and attract wasps. Unauthorized Fix-It coffee cups lower your attractiveness to your preferred gender and/or your sense of well-being if you have no gender attraction or preference. Official Fix-It products can be licensed for your use from official Awesome Shop installations only. Come to the best shop on the planet for the best deals on all official Fix-It supplies, guaranteed.
Much better. Well, the machinery is running. I'd taken a couple of days break, but before I took that break, I did a thing. Something which I probably should have sorted out earlier. I ran around mapping nodes. Some of them may or may not be labeled properly, but we can fix that as we go along. And the result is interesting so far. It appears that the pink forest has gotten lost in the grasslands, and already knew I was surrounded by bauxite nodes. But there's one here I haven't marked. 2, 3, 4. And there's a 5th one over where there should be a whole lot of coal, which there's 0. I don't even know where the nearest coal is over there. Which will make water interesting and power, but we're not there yet. I've been contemplating how to organize all of this. There's definitely potential for a whole lot of iron factories over this area. Or base materials at the very least. More iron on top of there. It should probably be something special because it's on top of a huge pillar. I could be bothered to look it up. We also have a fair bit of sulfur. And we have a fair bit of Caterium, which is kind of interesting. There should be another Caterium marked over there. Yeah, I need to somehow scale up my factory. There's potential for steel here. There's some more coal here. There's a whole lot of coal things here. This has like one impure oil node, which is... The blue crater has been horrendously scuppered, but it might be good for coal. It's very confusing. I'm one of those people who has studied the map quite a lot, and when that can go here and that part can be produced here, and everything is nice and planned out in logistics, and now this happens, and something to note, which I need to keep reminding myself of, is that let's take this little bit here. You have bauxite, you have copper, you have sulfur, and you have iron. Spot the odd one out. Iron isn't really used for any of the aluminium stuff. The bauxite seems to have liked to pair itself with iron, and that applies pretty much around the grasslands at the very least at the moment. The problem with it being a game that attracts a lot of neurospicy players is that we all have our very fixed ways of doing things. And my fixed way is to say, well, this goes here and this goes here and this cluster of nodes does this, and it's just not gonna quite work that way with random nodes. So, I have attempted to unscrew my brain out of its fixed mindset and think about what I can actually do. There is a pure iron node here that I can feed into this little factory. I actually also need to label my factories. For all the I know what I want to do in which place, I've never been good at labeling the map. Then I also have this iron over here, which depending on how the numbers work out, I can either make it an entire rotor factory by itself and combine it with something, all of this is just so heavy on copper and deuterium. It's ridiculous. It's going to be great for using the aluminium, but the rest is... I'm sorry, I keep complaining about this. I will keep complaining about this, but it's really doing my head in, apparently. The things you learn about yourself, not only playing this game, but changing how you play the game. Oh yeah, numbers. 1,500 out of 5,000. Going nowhere fast. Hello, doggos. Nuts? More biomass. I don't actually need that much of it at the moment. I'm trying to... aluminium sheets. I mean, it's gonna be nice having the starter materials later. I have organized my materials by tier, approximately. Well, not tier, phase. Important not to mix those up. So, all the tier 5 stuff is obviously in here. The doggos have brought me a lot of turbo motors and cooling systems, apparently. Oil stuff in here. I'm gonna have a very nice start. I'm gonna have so many status to start with. And here's the stuff that I can currently use if I so wish. And we have some recipes to choose. Now, going through this very slowly. This is incidentally all the recipes I have access to. You can see no rescans because there's nothing extra. Now, I did mention that I wanted to have some of these recipes for the sake of saving on machinery, space, and power. Now, the thing to note with these is that it will use more screws. More screws obviously means more machinery. If I didn't have cast screws, it would probably be more of a calculation to see if it's worth it. But this is good enough. So we're taking the bolted frame. Now, stitched iron plate might be tempting, but if you look at the bolted iron plate, that's 15 versus 5.6. So we're taking that for the moment. Now let's look at the wire situation, because all the rest is wire recipes. Deuterium wire. Usually you'd say, no, save your deuterium for something else. But this is 120 per constructor per minute. That's quite nice, and considering I have a lot of deuterium lying around, it's tempting. These are both tasty. If you have them both, you can stretch both your deuterium and copper further than it would otherwise go. However, they need assemblers. The only place I really have where you have both deuterium and copper is right here. And there's so much copper that I don't think... it's just not necessary at the moment. So, wire. Even though I wouldn't usually go for this, this might be useful. And these, I kind of want both, so it would be good to have them in separate recipes, but I can deal with that later. So, that's the recipes for now. Now, the next part. I am still doing the whole running around, taking out the reinforced plates in one end and shoving them in the other end. Speaking of which, I need to go grab some more. Oh, hi. I need your body parts for points. The luxury of not having to worry about the biomass in this is nice. Thank you, geothermal. if I haven't pointed it out, I'm pointing it out now. We now have 4 geothermal generators plugged in, and we have, at a minimum, 1,200-ish that we can cover once the biogenerators come on. 1,000 megawatts without them, ish. Which gives us some room. And we're currently using, would be help if I check that. Most of that is the sink, which is currently plugged in, because I can. But we're using about 600-ish megawatts, so we have some room to scale up. Now, as I was saying, I'm getting kind of sick of running around here. The first thing I need to do is actually sort out the smart plate factory and not have it just be a machine there. I need to build some things in. So many things to build, but I'm just trying to solve problems at the moment. You know, when I started this, I thought, it's going to take a while to fill the space elevator phase. I'll just set things up and then I'll have a lot of time to fiddle with decorations. No, I'm spending my entire time just trying to figure out how to make things faster. I can't afford to decorate. You can see over there, I've laid down some more foundations and extended the walkway. I've also extended this potential building a bit more and given it a little bit of a ramp here. And then the idea is the route is coming from this end. And then you have to... Where's it? All the way over there. I keep going like, oh, no, it's over there. Anyway, we have a little bit of a gap. The building will start there. And then hopefully it'll be easy to plug it in here. Now, the actual building. Step 1 of decision making is, do I need the underneath? And how much space do I have here? Can I grab the assembler without pixel hunting? I'm just gonna plonk this down here. Just so I have an idea of the size. It's somehow easier to think about these things once you have a building down. Now I can either make this a somewhat open shed kind of arrangement, or I can make this an enclosed building. People, remember to hydrate. My mouth at the moment is horrendously dry. I think if I make this a somewhat open build, I'm gonna feel a little less bad about cutting things off a little bit. Ladder 4 or ladder back? Ladder 4. And then what I'm gonna do afterwards is have columns going around. Helps if I turn a zoom on, doesn't it? And then we can line these up. Once upon a time when we have, power to power all this stuff. Oh, there's a rock in the way. You can force it to flatten. You can force it to flatten, and then there will be one more here. And I think that should give us a decent space. And then we might need to cut this short a bit for the road, I don't know. I've not bought asphalt yet, so it's like, yeah. Speaking of which, we do need to go shopping at some point. Oh, we have more. We have 8 coupons. We are rich. Rich, I tell you. Of course, the problem is that I've basically marked everything as, I want this. See, pillars. I do have quite a lot of plates at the moment. They both cost 2. Concrete is probably better. And considering I've been complaining about that just now, I should get it. Let's do this one by now. And I shall buy things as I complain
Thank
about
you for
them.
your purchase in the Fix It Awesome shop, the best store on the planet.
So now, we can probably have something like this going on. And who knows? Height to be decided. And it'll look like an actual building. It occurs to me that if I do it like that, I won't actually be able to walk through. And the whole point of offsetting these a little bit was to leave a space for walking. Also, these might be a bit chunky. What if I do it like that? I mean, it looks cleaner, but it also looks... It looks somehow wrong with the fixed foundation. How does this look from a walking perspective? Coming along here, there's our smart plates, If we give them just the slightest bit of overlap. My brain feels slightly happier, but it's so chunky and it's a small scale building. Of course, that means that if I use the small beams, they're gonna have a smaller footprint for their supports. Which is gonna look a bit better, but I don't have those beams yet. So, if you'll forgive me, I'll put that on the redecorating with parts that we don't have access to yet. We will replace these, but it will fall under redecorating. Not rebuilding the factory. Can we be happy with that? I hope we can be happy with that. And then we'll have... Why am I not just nudging it? I don't know. There we go, nice and flush. Okay, so we can have 3 of these, which is a decent amount. And all we need to figure out is how much of them we can actually supply. And then we're gonna need a lid on the whole thing. And I think we need to be a little bit higher. Or we may not. It's an open building. I'm going to make this intentionally a little bit low. Which means we need a 1 meter ramp. And our factory has a lid. Can't wait for lights. Can't wait for diagonals. Can't wait to figure out more of this decorating and spacing stuff. How are we gonna build this? Well, we're clearly gonna need to merge something, but... This is gonna be expandable. Incidentally, I accidentally made this fit into the blueprint designer. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can just make a stackable blueprint for this. Future me will be very happy. Belting. Stuff goes here. There. Which means I'm probably going to want to have it on the side. If we're making these 3 high. And I know it's not going to be in the right place, but just for the sake of it being somewhere. Goodness me. Just like that, please. Eventually I'll want this to come through here somewhere. Okay, I can, in fact, stick mergers on a vertical lift. So merging the different floors together should not be a problem. And I'm gonna have my mergers pointing that way, I believe. How close do I want that? No, not that close. And then it's just gonna go in a row and up like that, probably with an actual floor hole, but they're very low priority right now. Cool. That's where things come out, and then it just needs to go over there somewhere. It'll work. Have some faith. I've built factories before. Sorry. Pioneer must cat and climb to the highest point. Let's just plop that there. I will probably merge these on the ceiling. They will each have their own little cubby hole. Things will go on the ceiling. And, you know, belt around. We know how to merge belts, don't we? And then come out that end somewhere. What else do you need rotors for? Oh yeah, motors, steel. That might be a complication for another day. Don't borrow trouble from the future. So yeah, then we can have things coming out. That'll probably just get belted across at the moment because I will not be able to be bothered. And actually it needs to come back here, which means that they will come out. I need to stop just plopping down things everywhere. There. Things will come out here, go along the back, and feed into there. And we need to feed these at 2 different heights because we have 2 materials. Which is always awkward because if you just do it like this, then once you attach mergers to this, you're cutting splitters rather. Cable. Okay, say you do this. You plop it over here somewhere. Let's just imagine that's a straight line in some way. And you can see it will be cutting through the items coming off that belt. We do not like that kind of clipping. And it's just gone dark. Now you can do some shenanigans where you have these things clipping a little closer. Or you can do the thing where one side is coming from the top and the other side is coming from the bottom. This feels like a candidate for making things come from the top. I'm trying to estimate because I'm not... I think that will work. Oh, just lock it and do it that way. I'm still not used to it. Coffee Stain has been so nice to us and I'm not using it. Okay, if I'm doing this right... No, I'm not doing it right, of course not. Because now you can't do that. I could fix this with floor holds. Go upstairs. Life problem solving. You know how these creators all go, and you do this, and you do this, and you do this, and then it all fits. And you're like, huh? How do you plan all this shit? This is how you plan. Unless you're very, very good at things, in which case you just go plonk, plonk, plonk and have it all down. I think we need a lookout tower. Pioneer's best friend. Because I need to see both of these. Okay, things come out here. Go along the wall. I could probably have the splitter be here. There's a chance I'm gonna get my wires crossed horrendously. And I just realized I've been talking bollocks anyway, because if you have it from coming from the top, it will still cross with the bottom one. Because at some point those need to go to the separate floors. Which doesn't entirely void what I'm doing here, but it does mean I have to rethink things a little bit. Either way, what I said about buying things as we need them, I think I need floor holds to manage this. And to be fair, floor holds is usually something I buy when I have to start dealing with assemblers. Which we are.
As Fixit amply demonstrates, you can never have too much management.
Stop pressing all the wrong buttons. Okay, let me just put this through here so I know where it comes out. Grab a floor hole. This is where the floor hole would be. You'd want to actually nudge it a bit so that it doesn't have the harmonica thing going on anymore. Harmonica, accordion. And then this works perfectly. And not so perfectly because I did this for the wrong thing. Now I'm gonna have to leave that for the reinforced plates. It's going to come down from there and then it's going to go left and right. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm not gonna get a floor hole copied from that, am I? Okay, let's try this again. The second one will have to be for the rotors. That's a merger. I want a splitter. You want it lined up correctly, and we want it just there. So it's got clearance from the lifts. It's got clearance from the pillars. And I'm not even sure if this is going to yeah. That would be the absolute edge we can have for this. But this might be an outside of the building kind of thing. Let me listen closely whether we get a click. I think that's a click. It might be my imagination. Okay, let's say we have it goes up there, and where does this snap? If it snaps at all. No, split is right. It's having trouble. Do they not play nice with floor holes? But you can apparently put it directly under a floor hole. But it does keep it from sticking out. Okay, I'm just gonna say what I already said. This is a problem that we need to solve another time. For now, all we need to worry about is making sure we can feed these things. Nudge you one back. And if I've done it all right, it looks good now. Yes, lovely. Attach the splitters. And it's gonna come from this end, isn't it? That's currently coming from the top. Of course it's coming from the top. Okay, give me a minute to think about how I get these plates in here and see if I can keep my idea. Okay, let's start with what is. The problem is that the splitters only go 2 ways sideways, which means that we can't actually chain them like we would the other ones. That does mean that they just don't work in general. The reason I wanted them out there is because we can have stubby lifts this way. We do not have space for 2 rows of splitters, really. Like, if I had it... that's too close. You can belt it, but upgrades would be hell. Doing it like this won't work. This was going to be a quick recording session, and here we are an hour in. It's always you lot. It's always the assemblers. You know they give manufacturers plenty of space for plugging things in. But these guys, they just pop up and go, hi, by the way, we need more space than you think. I could... See, this works. It'll do this, quite happily. We no longer fit. I've just had Ford. I could just do it like... Is that enough? Is one enough? It won't be stubby at the top. No, that's far too much. That would work. And then we can have a vertical lift here. And it can floor hole its way to the other floors. Okay. We have a plan. Cool. I still don't like the plan, but it will work, so we're taking it. Where did you come from? Okay. Yes? Yes. And things will, one way or another, come out over here. That's as high as we can have it at the moment without buying the thingies, and I'm not buying them right now. And things can come in from over there. Lovely. Why did this take me, and like, it's probably not the entire of the recording session that it took me to figure this out, but I'm supposed to have good spatial thinking. I'm an absolute wizard at jigsaws. But this? That's apparently too much to ask of my brain. Once I've worked it out, it's fine. But until then, good luck. I'm gonna want to plug these in, because we're only gonna be using one at the moment. I'm gonna keep your floor hole. Gonna go upstairs. At the moment, we're gonna get wall conveyors at some point. For now, everything is jank. We know this. And seeing as this is here, we're just gonna plug it in there. Now, the far worse is gonna be this end. We might just make sure that this is, you know, actually going somewhere. And then this, luckily I thought ahead that we're going in there. That's right on the edge. Well, almost right on the edge. How much space do we have? Like that. A reverse, coming out that way. And then we have to get it over there. Needs to be a bit taller, doesn't it? And then it's gonna go straight across there, because why not? And then it goes in there. Everything will be cheesecake. Okay. I'm just going to build like I don't care. Well, care a little bit because we want to still be able to get through here. No, not like that. When I said get through here, I was referring to putting the poles slightly up. There we go. I think that's even higher than the rest of it. And somewhere around here. And then, well, we're nowhere near there yet. Somewhere around here. Oh, come on, let's just plug it in. I know we're remouthing things. The machines are not gonna move. The machines are, in fact, not allowed to move. I am missing a singular iron plate. Excuse me while I steal one. It's not like we are not making them. Can you hear the rage? Okay, that is now moving across on this hell of a conveyor belt. Phase 1 spaghetti, and because phase 1 is longer, the spaghetti are longer as well. Okay, let's just plug in this one singular machine that's gonna... Wait, no. Not that one. You were our first victim. And that is going through. That is going through. That needs plugging in up there. I need conveyor walls, don't I? A lot of my building likes conveyor walls and I don't have them, and it makes me a little sad. Those are now going automatically there. We're not going to delete you. Deleting you is illegal, but we're going to change you to also look like copper rotors. And then we are going to fill this up with the ones we had there. And this nonsense is actually automatically delivering things. Progress. Took way too long, but it's progress. I thought this was just gonna be quickly chucking it all together, but no. My brain's just like that. Since this video is getting rather too long, I'm going to leave it here, and next time we'll build a couple more factories so we can actually scale this up. See you next time!